Joined by Violet Namata to let us in more on this policy and what our populations probably are expected to be as African countries continue to be not very stable. Violet, a very good afternoon. It looks a very good thing to always plan ahead, but we're planning for uncertainties because no one chooses to be a refugee, but it's because of the situation in the country. What is this policy about and what's being looked forward to?
Well, thank you so much, Mildred Tuhaise. Currently, Uganda is host to 1.2 million refugees. So the refugee response policy actually shows that between 2019 and 2020, we shall have the number increased to 1.3 million refugees. And as a country, we need a lot of money. And of course, the policy says that $927 million will be needed in the country to cater for these refugees. And this money is going to be distributed in different sectors. First of all, according to the State Minister for Disaster Preparedness, that is Musa Echeru, he says that education is a very important aspect, and that money will also look at that. He says that in these refugee areas, you find that over 2,000 children study from one classroom, which makes it very hard for the refugees to actually acquire a good education, though they have been displaced people, but of course they have a right to education. He also the response plan also looks at emergency responses. For example, health. We understand that most of these refugees are very crowded, and of course they are prone to so many diseases, and of course they have a right to health and they need to be catered for. So the plan will also look at environment. Environment is one of the things that have been looked at. Musa Ichero says that in case any NGO or non-government organization comes up to help, they must find a strategy, they must find a way of catering for the environment. We understand that most of the host communities have also complained about environmental degradation, and of course in 2 years' time or 10 years' time we are likely to have disaster in our country if some of these things are not catered for. He also called upon the Parliament of Uganda, of course, to increase the budget allocation for these districts that cater for the refugees, because a number of times we understand that every time we have so many refugees in these particular districts, then we are likely to have so many things to be catered for. For now, that is what I can tell you. We shall be having so much more in our subsequent bulletins in Amasengaji at 7 p.m. and live at 9.
Well, thank you very much, Violet Namata. Talking about education, which is a pertinent issue, there is also the aspect of health where, you know, refugees sharing on the same health budget in these districts, and some of the districts being given the fact that they are cross-border districts, if we would say so, also is another one to pay attention to. But we'll be looking at that plan and how implementable it is, and most especially when it comes to the aspect of funding.